Coaches who want to win in 2024 and beyond, who want to separate themselves, rise from the pack or separate themselves from the pack, are going to have to get to level 4 in this coaching style. I'm going to talk about that here. Make sure you stick around at the end for the last dab. I'll share with you what my buddy told me, and it cut me deep. Everyone's going to want to hear that. First level of coaching is going to be authoritarian coaching. Okay, authoritarian coaching is really the because I told you so. You probably got told that by your dad or your mom as a kid, because I told you so. You're going to see that anytime that there's a real chain of command and somewhat of an imbalance of power, by default, there's a time and place for that. Authoritarian leadership, we all kind of hate being told what to do and how to do it without a why, without a backstory, an explanation. In the military, you see the authoritarian chain of command. You see that level of leadership, because often time isn't on your side. And in that case, it's often dealing with life and death, right? The consequences are supreme. And so authoritarian leadership is really a dying thing, because we just don't like it. We don't actually appreciate it as humans. It kind of dehumanizes us a little bit. There's a really awesome quote that I love. It says, a man forced against his will is still of his own opinion. Meaning, if you're told to do it and not convinced why you should do it, then you're still going to be of your own opinion. Even if you do comply, you're not going to like it. So that's not going to work, right? The next level, second level, is going to be about community leadership. Community leaders are going to seek counsel or poll others around them, right? They're not going to make a decision themselves and just make a decision. They somewhat publicly, right, or more openly seek counsel. Depending on who you ask, you might call it counsel or polling, right? If you're seeking other leaders, help from them, you would probably call it counsel. And if you're polling the athletes on your team, perhaps, right, or the parents, you might call that polling, right? And so in either case, that level is really great, because it really cuts the head off of the whole authoritarian leadership. Even if you go with the decision that you originally had, you've at least sought other perspective greater than your own, right? And so you're more likely to make a good decision, and people aren't going to feel like you're just ruling with an iron fist or up in an ivory tower. So it's really great for that. Servant leadership is level 3. Servant leadership is going to get you really out of that ivory tower. It's very much like the community leadership. However, it's going to be about humbling yourself, right? When we talk about humbling yourself, it's not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. Power thing. Thanks a lot, Chris Hodges. And so, in servant leadership, you're quite literally humbling yourselves, your boots on the ground, and you're serving the wants, needs, and desires of your community. Okay, you have to stand on your own wisdom. You need to stand on some truth, so that you can balance what they need with what they want, right? That's going to kind of always be the case. But servant leadership is powerful. It's a kingdom principle that you're going to find throughout the Bible. It's great word, life-giving, all those things. Level 4 is the leadership style that I really love, and I think that it's by far and away the hardest. There is incredibly huge demand on your life. There's an incredible responsibility and accountability in it, okay? And the level 4 is about vulnerable leadership. Vulnerable leaders, the reason that vulnerable leadership is so hard and so rare is that it requires that you are authentic, because you have to, in order to be vulnerable, you have to give people a certain level of access to you, right? You have to actually be the guy, and giving them and removing those walls or pulling back the curtain a little bit and giving them some more access to you. They're going to see that you're authentic, that you lead by example, that you live out, the things that you're preaching and teaching others. It's going to require that you have great communication, right? So that you can communicate those things. It requires that you do things timely, that you do it with enough time out front that there's time to communicate about it on the front end before you reach that 11th hour, the deadline on your rope, before if the decision's got to be made on December 10th and it's going to take 7 days to happen, then December 3rd is D-Day, and December 2nd is the 11th hour to make that decision, right? Easy. That's a really deep idea that I could preach on for forever about the theory of constraints. But that level, the vulnerable leadership is incredible, because it makes people feel like they're open, like you're open-minded, right? You have to have that open mind. You have to be a part of the thing with them. You kind of race back to where your people are, or you retrace back to where they are and then run the race with them. These are all powerful ideas that are really far-reaching. And so vulnerable leaders, it's incredibly hard to do, but it's so powerful. In the digital age, when we have so much access to content, when we get so much exposure to better coaching, better communication, those things, I think vulnerable leaders are going to really rise to the top. And that's kind of our whole power play, is that we're trying to put literally the I'll call it little t truth, okay? The truth about wrestling, grappling, the science of training, very practical answers, but also very high level answers, making that accessible to everybody. Those vulnerable leaders are going to really rise to the top. The people who can communicate the truth, capital T or lower T truth, with love and grace. I think those people are really going to win. Here's the thing. So there's servant leadership. Authoritarian leadership, community leadership. Level 3 is servant leadership. Level 4 is vulnerable leadership. And so I was thinking about this in terms of coaching, and business leaders and all those things, right? But my buddy really cut me deep. Here's that last dab for you, okay? Is he said, parenting is the same way. And when he said it, just cut me so deep. This is a man I've got tremendous respect for. And he's definitely a guy that I look up to in terms of parenting and stuff. He's an incredible guy. And when he said that, it really cut me deep, because I had not thought about how it applies to that, which I know is going to apply to everybody seeing this video. Vulnerable leadership is the way. If you are interested in having more perspective on those things, right, where you don't have a one-dimensional approach to your coaching, or whether that be the way that you coach, communicate, lead, if we're talking about technique, skills, positions, on and off the mat things as a coach, if you're interested in expanding that, okay, if you believe what we believe, if you jive with these things and want to be a vulnerable leader, if you want to what I would say turn pro, you need to hit us up there. Get in those DMs and text us the word pro, or go right now and apply. If you go to our bio, there's a pro coaches program. You can fill out the application, and it's going to prompt you to book a free strategy call. You and me will get on the thing one-on-one, talk about it. I've only been able to do about 2 or 3 of these a week, trying to squeeze in my schedule, but they've been so awesome. It's been great to meet people all around the country, talk to them about their program, find out what's going on, just give them some free value, help in some kind of way. And then, from there, a lot of them have said, hey, this is super cool, how to be more part of it. And we put them in our pro coaches program if it all works out and we like one another and want to work together. But at the very least, get on there, man. I'd love to meet some more of you guys and just help. It's been fantastic. Hope this video helps you and serves you well. Wherever you are, be vulnerable. We'll see you on the mat somewhere soon, okay? Later.